Wow, what a win. Magnificent Andy. He takes out the first running of the Golden Saddle worth $1 million. And what a deserving race it was. At the 200 metre mark, he looked home, but in the end, Yonga Lass and Man Crush into third made a real race of it. But it was the horse that the punters wanted to be with, and he did the right thing by them.
He certainly did, Locke, and what a story that is. I mean, he has been a marvel, Magnificent Andy. He's been a bridesmaid in some of the best races we have to offer here in WA for such a long time, and largely he's fallen short. He's been a horse that's always been thereabouts the mark, but he's had a knack of finding one or two at the top level, or at least but just below the top level, better on the day. We saw him run fourth in a quokka. He just missed the money there. He's won a Joey, which is obviously the race underneath the quokka and leads into it. He's run well in a railway stakes. He's just been an absolutely incredible horse for SJ Miller, and for him to win a race like that today, there's no one more deserving.
Absolutely, he thoroughly deserved that. He's the second highest rated horse in WA from a handicapping perspective, and he's raced at that level for 2, 3, nearly 4 seasons now. So for SJ Miller to continue to place him well and get him back to his best, it's just been a remarkable training performance.
Certainly has, and his handling of this horse, as you mentioned, Lockie, he's just been outstanding, and for him to continue to produce him each and every preparation, and he seemingly only gets better with age, it's quite remarkable. And at this stage of his career, he is getting on, it's fair to say, but for him to still be able to show that sharpness to win a race of this depth and of this quality at 1,200 metres first up, it's an incredible effort, not just from the horse, but from SJ behind the scenes with all the work that he does with him as well.
$1 million feature for Brad Parnham as well, one of the biggest wins in his career in the saddle, and we were just having a look, no rides at Northern for Bradley, so he went into the race with a little bit of confidence, and he's just played that magnificently.
Certainly has, no surprises there at all, Locke, and you could actually see, that was an emotional Brad Parnham post-race. He might not be the most, visually emotional person, but I could tell that win meant a lot to him for a great mate of his and one of his biggest supporters all the way through his career in SJ Miller, for a horse that clearly means a great deal to him as well. They've developed a great partnership over the best part of the last 3 to 4 years, and I could see he felt the same, and that this horse, he just deserved that win today. He's been a horse that, he's won some good races. I'm not saying that he hasn't, but he's largely fallen short when he's been presented to win some of the grand finals that he's been targeted at through the course of his career. So I could sense it was a very relieved and very proud Brad Parnham there today as well.
And now the high on this race course, it continues for another half hour, because the running of the Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup of 2025 is only 10 minutes away now, and it looks like a 2-horse war according to the market, and in the opinion of yourself and I, we agree with it, because Starry Heights and Sentimental Hero, they are all the rage in the big one.
Certainly is the case, I think anyway, Lockie, that they look the obvious too, and the market reflects that. And interesting having a chat to Willie Pike about his plan for this race a bit earlier, post-race, when I had a chat to him about what he does with Starry Heights, and he seems to think it's just a horrible map for him, and he didn't seem to give the impression that he's going to come out positive and try and look for a position in running over the speed and try and tag a horse like Sentimental Hero and keep him within striking distance. It sounded as though that he's more than likely to take his medicine and go back and ride the horse like he's generally raced his best when he has been ridden a bit more neutral and off the speed. Hence, I think it's advantage Sentimental Hero, even though he's going to have to be the first horse in history to win the Cup with this sort of a weight. I think he's the best stayer and the best horse for mine in this race. He was a deserving favourite of a Perth Cup at the start of the year with the body of work that he was able to produce leading in, and ultimately it was a dominant win in the Boulder Cup. And while Starry Heights was a little bit unlucky, I did think he was holding him on the line.
Well, let's see how it plays out, and we'll start by looking at these horses in the yard. Here's the one, Sentimental Hero for Peter Fernie, looking for his 3rd Kalgoorlie Cup, and Lucy Fiore looking for a 2nd.
It'd be a great story, Locke, that is for sure, and I am still wary that he's going to have to be, as I mentioned, that first horse to win with the 60.5 kilos. No horse in history has been able to do that, and while I did and a little bit off the back of that statistic, I am siding up with him, who I think holds the advantage following the draw leading into this race off the back of that dominant win last start in the Boulder Cup. While Starry Heights, I thought, was a little bit unlucky and wasn't able to really build momentum into the race. I just have my reservations on whether he's going as well as he was 12 months ago when he was able to win this race essentially with a leg in the air. And while it's well documented that he does grow a leg here at Kalgoorlie, he's just a horse at the level in town, or at this level in town, and this bloke, he isn't. He measures up in some of the better staying races that we've got, and as mentioned, that body of work leading into the Perth Cup, he was a very deserving favourite there. He'll roll forward with the main danger, Starry Heights, I think likely to end up in the second half of the field in running, and he certainly wasn't stopping through the line in that win in the Boulder Cup last start. And as I mentioned in our little preamble lock, I think he's not only the best horse but the best stayer in this field, and I'm hoping it can be a hometown triumph for Peter Fernie and Andrew Inglis.
To be optimistic, Lucy Fiore, Chris Parnham.
Well, we know she's more than capable on her day as a previous Kalgoorlie Cup winner. She's run second in a Perth Cup. She ran third in the last Perth Cup a bit earlier this year as well. So we know she's more than up to the mark. She's just been a little bit inconsistent in showing it in recent preparations. She was too bad to be true last start in the Kalgoorlie Cup. She was terrible. She was the first horse beaten on that occasion, beaten 13 lengths at the finish. She's been given a little freshen up, which I'm sure was a plan leading into this by Lucy Fiore. We haven't seen her at the races for a month, and I do like the jockey change with Chris Parnham jumping on board as well. But off her recent runs, or her recent run in that Kalgoorlie Cup and the trial prior to that, she'd certainly need to be elevating.
3, Karamundi, Steve Wolf, Sean McGrady.
I think he looks the blowout chance of the race, Lockie, if there is one. That is to say, he's well suited under the conditions of the race. He gets some much needed weight relief from last start. He carried the 61 in the Tab Touch Stakes and was beaten a big margin, but I don't think that was the best version of him. He was okay the start prior to that in the Farnley, got a long way off the speed in a race that was slowly run and dominated by the leader. I think he's going maybe a little bit better than it looks on paper. Up in trip, back in, he's got some class as well, as we know, on his day, and wouldn't surprise to see him finishing into the money.
4, Starry Heights, Grant Alana Williams, Willie Pike.
Well, we've said most of it, Lockie, about this horse. He's one of the key winning chances, and look, he was the winner of this race last year. I don't think we've had a horse since the 1940s win 2 Kalgoorlie Cups, so the task is in front of him. The map is going to be tricky from where he has drawn. He was a bit unlucky in that Boulder Cup, but he's got the right man for the job in the saddle and William Pike, and I'm sure he's got a plan. Whether he can execute it to get the job done remains to be seen.
5, Alaskan, Neville Parnham, Lakdara Molly.
Has been consistent without winning in lesser races than this in town, in 66 plus and graduation company. I just wouldn't think he's up to these.
The 6 is Dancing Jack for Pamela Oram and Matty Derrick.
Hasn't won for 800 days and has been well beaten in all the key lead-ups for this race.
7, I Love Your Smile, American Form, Lucy Fiore, Joy Zapati.
She is. She's posted back-to-back wins over the staying trip in town in 66 plus company and has been leaving it very late as well. She does do her best work getting back off the speed. I think that's the wrong form. I just can't see how Lombardina and Lyrical Angel form is going to hold up in this race here today. She'd certainly need to really elevate again.
The 8 is It's a Lance for Peter Fernie and Alex Hearn.
He's come back super. His runs have been terrific leading into this race, and he hasn't been far off some pretty nice staying types in Ginger Baker and Sentimental Hero, who's our current favourite for the race in his recent runs. He'll slide forward and ride the speed despite drawing wide, and I think Alex Hearn's going to suit him.
9, Mystical Man, Molly Clark, Keshaw Durham.
He was beaten a long way in the Boulder Cup, and he's a horse that also really struggles to win and has a wide draw to contend with.
10, Royal Law, 40 to 1 into $10 for Ash Maley and Tash Faithful.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wild move. Hasn't been able to, well, has been no match for I Love Your Smile in his recent couple of runs. He was a dominant winner on a heavy track 3 starts ago, but I would have thought this would be a little bit beyond him.
And the 11 is Ryewood, an interrupted preparation, but looked to be back on track last start for Peter Fernie and Holly Watson.
I think she's a rung below the top 2 in the market, Ryewood, but she's continuing to run very good races and attack the line, so you do have to be respecting of her. She ran 3rd in the Tats Cup behind Decoration. She ran 3rd in the Boulder Cup behind Sentimental Hero, beaten 4.5 lengths, and thought she was really charging through the line. That extra 100 metres is going to suit her here today. She'll just get back midfield and blend into the race, and she'll be finishing off strongly.
What a race the Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup is, over the 2,300 metres. Let's have a look at the market, and Sentimental Hero is your favourite, still at $2.60, now $2.65, and Starry Heights just shortens marginally into $2.70. So we almost have equal favourites at the top of this market. I Love Your Smile, trainer Lucy Fiore, the local boy out of Kalgoorlie, looking for his 2nd Kalgoorlie Cup. Joazza Party Rides is at $8. Royal Law 40 to 1 into $10. Karamundi is 18 into 14. Ryewood $8.50 out to 15. Riley, how do you order the 4 in the 2025 Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup?
Was a tough one for me, this one, Lock. I'm Denard for a little while, but I'm sticking fat with Sentimental Hero, who I think he's the best stayer, the best credentialed stayer in this field. He was a dominant winner last start of the key lead up for this race in the Boulder Cup, and while the Starry Heights was unlucky, I thought he was comfortably holding him through the line. So while he's going to have to defy history and be the first horse to carry this sort of a weight to win the Cup, I think he's capable of doing so, and he's going to hold the aces from a tactical advantage from a field position perspective as well. So Sentimental Hero goes on top for me. Not much between the top two in the market. Starry Heights, you have to be respecting of him. He grows a leg here at Kalgoorlie. He was the winner of this race 12 months ago in utterly dominant fashion as well. And he was back to something near his best with that run, that luckless run in defeat last start. But he is going to have the task ahead of him from the draw, and he is going to need a good steer from the Wizard, but he's certainly got the right man in the saddle for the job. 3 Curramundi, he's a blowout chance. He's well suited under the conditions of this race and should be improving, getting out in trip and dropping some weight off his back. And the 11 Rywood in for 4th, who I think is a rung below the top 2 in the market, but she's continuing to run some terrific races in behind them in the lead-ups for this contest. Kalgoorlie Cup time, Lock, really looking forward to this. 1, 4, 3 and 11. It's been a terrific day on course here so far, but I'm sticking fat with Sentimental Hero and hoping it can be some hometown heroics from Peter Fernie and Andrew Inglis, his main owner.
It would be a huge result for Kalgoorlie if the locally trained Sentimental Hero could break a weight carrying record. The 60.5 kilos Sentimental Hero has to carry. He is your favourite, and Riley's on top selection. Starry Heights at $2.70 at the last look of the market. But we'll hand you upstairs to Darren for the call of the 2025 Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup.
So Willie Pike, searching for his 3rd Kalgoorlie Cup win, comes up on Starry Heights, the reigning Cup winner. The past 2 Cup winners engaged here. Starry Heights, Be Optimistic. In goes the Molly Clark train, Mystical Man. I Love Your Smile joins the line. And here is the top weight, Sentimental Hero, the $2.70 Tab Touch favourite. So the last to be brought forward will be It's a Lance, along with Rywood. Rywood's rider has the white cap. And It's a Lance, taken up by Alex Hearn, drawn toward the outside of the field. Will no doubt be looking to work across. Relishes that role of pacemaker. The starter's on the ladder. In goes Rywood. They stand in the cup. They're ready. Before this big crowd. Stand by. Set to go, and they're off. And wide out, It's a Lance was the first to hit the ground with Alaskan into stride quickly. So Sentimental Hero, Royal Law. Rywood's right there with those through the first 200. Curramundi pushing up near the inside of I Love Your Smile. Followed by Be Optimistic. Back there on the inside of last year's Cup winner Starry Heights. The last couple, Dancing Jack, Mystical Man. It's a Lance goes on with it now and takes over. He loves the role of pacemaker. It's a Lance shows the way through the crossing. Settles about a length and a half in front from the favourite Sentimental Hero. Stablemate Rywood working around the outside, searching for the breeze, will get there shortly after. Alaskan 4th on the inside as they pass the 1600 now from Royal Law. Almost 2 lengths Curramundi down on the inside of I Love Your Smile. The tempo nice and even here in the Cup. Then Starry Heights back there on the outside of the mare. Be Optimistic, Mystical Man pulling a bit, and Dancing Jack on the rail. They take a little breather now at the 1400 going up onto the next turn. It's a Lance leads the way. Rywood is running second with Alaskan down on the inside, occupying 3rd spot, being shaded here by the favourite Sentimental Hero. It's been given a great run. A length and a half to Royal Law. Down on the inside is Curramundi at the 1100. They've gone inside the halfway mark. Further back, I Love Your Smile outside of Be Optimistic. Then Starry Heights patiently handled by Pike. Right back there with Dancing Jack. And to clear last is Mystical Man. At the 850, about to lead leave the back and head to Charles Street. And down on the inside, It's a Lance. Still holds control, a half a length over Rywood. A length and a half away then is Alaskan. Down on the inside, Sentimental Hero's about to wind up and get going. Followed by Royal Law, Caramundi shifting away from the fence. Be Optimistic back there near the rail. From I Love Your Smile, Starry Heights is starting to go around them. Further back to Dancing Jack, Mystical Man. Rywood reaches the lead. They've gone to the 400. Fighting back, It's a Lance. Starry Heights, something's gone amiss with Starry Heights. He's dropped out. He's eased out of the race by Pike. And now the favourite reaches the lead. Sentimental Hero surge to the front. Royal Law's in pursuit. But the top weight's clear. Sentimental Hero. They go to the 150. He's clear of Royal Law. Sentimental Hero showing no signs of stopping. And Sentimental Hero gives Peter Fernie another cup winner. Sentimental Hero beat Royal Law. Caramundi third from Alaskan. Then Be Optimistic. Followed further back Rywood. Next home Dancing Jack. I Love Your Smile. It's a Lance weekend out of it. Mystical Man next home. And Starry Heights has gone amiss sadly before the home corner. Sentimental Hero for Peter Fernie. Peter wins his third Kalgoorlie Gold Cup. He started it with True Gold, Inject the Venom in 2019, and Sentimental Hero has come away with the most emphatic of victories, under 60 and a half for Lucy Fiore. And Lucy, of course, successful on Spiritual Warrior, going back there in 2020, has also clinched her second cup today. Sadly, though, Starry Heights has gone amiss, being accompanied back by the clerk of the course and Willie Pike. After being put into the race, he has gone amiss, Starry Heights, and was eased down very quickly. But it's all about Sentimental Hero. Number one for the leading stable of Kambana Lodge, Peter Fernie. Owner Andrew Ingalls with Mrs. A.F. Ingalls, Peter Karen Fernie. A magnificent result for them here today. And Lucy Fiore beating 10 Royal Law, Tash Faithful, 3 Caramundi, Sean McGruddy, and 5 Alaskan Lakdar Romilly. It's 110.35, 110.35 after the running of the Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup. So Sentimental Hero with his 9th win from 31. He claims the Boulder and now the Kalgoorlie Cup here in 2025. We'll go down to Lockie in just a few moments. The last event at 5:22, and in the final event today, they're all going to run. But let's join Lockie down in the yard. It's a fabulous victory for Sentimental Hero. Unfortunately, the great career of last year's Cup winner Starry Heights has come to an end. But it's about the Peter Fernie stable, Sentimental Hero, and also the Inglis family.
Thanks, Darren. Great result for the local Peter Fernie. Kalgoorlie Cup number 3. Pete, Sentimental Hero, he has just been a marvel of a horse, and on the biggest stage, under the biggest weight, he delivers.
Yeah, I panicked at about the 800 because I thought Lucy had to get going because they'd come around and box her in, but Lucy knew what she had left. He's a great horse and she's a great rider.
Has he come back better this preparation? He was flying towards the Perth Cup. We know things didn't go to plan on that day, but has he come back an improved and stronger horse?
Well, the Perth Cup was an afterthought and he'd been up forever and we didn't really know him a lot. Now we've got to know him a lot better. I think he's a lot better than what he was.
So moving forward, do you still feel like there's an itch to scratch in terms of going back to a Perth Cup? Do you feel like he can measure up in a race like that?
I will have a look and see. You know, he owes us nothing. I couldn't care less if he retired now. He's been so good to me.
Andrew Ingalls, he's your best mate and your biggest owner, your biggest supporter. It must be special once again to do it alongside him.
Oh, it's unreal. He's a champion. Just gives me so many horses to train, never questions anything I do, and it's he never ever gets frustrated with them. He's just amazing.
Does it surprise you that you're best mates and you've been best mates for such a long period of time? Because you couldn't meet more different individuals than you and Andrew.
Oh, he's just a show-off.
And what are you?
I'm very quiet, mate.
A bloody good trainer. Well done here.
Thank you.
There's Peter Fernie after the win of Sentimental Hero, takes out the Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup. What a ride from Lucy Fiore. As Pete said post-race, Riley, just a little earlier, he was concerned down the Charles Street side. He wanted Lucy to get going, and eventually when she did, she had a lap full of horse underneath her and he was able to get the job done.
He was able to find that second win late, Lockie, once she was able to really ask for that effort from him. But what a horse he's been and what a ride they've been on with this horse since acquiring him from Peter's Investments. And obviously things didn't go to plan in that Perth Cup a little bit earlier this year, but I'm sure that's a very meaningful victory for Lucy, for someone who's had a massive hand in helping her return to her best in the saddle with the work and the partnership that they've been able to develop here at Kalgoorlie. I'll grab a quick word with Lucy Fiore after the win. Another Kalgoorlie Cup to add to the mantle. Lucy, a Kalgoorlie Cup for someone like Pete, who's played a big hand in helping you return to the peak of your powers in the saddle. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's awesome, especially like this horse last year. Sorry, Pete in the back. This horse last year ran second in the Hannons, so it's just progressed. And obviously we were a little bit disappointed in the Hannons this year, so to get this one, it was awesome. It's the whole season's really led to this moment, and Pete's done a great job with this horse, and it's awesome. So I'm very thankful.
It's been a bit of a ride with this horse, hasn't it? There's been some ups, there's been some downs, but on his day, he can match it with the absolute best of them that we got here in the West.
Yeah, for sure. I have to thank Michael because he got me on it last year, and I hopped off a winner, and I was pretty disappointed at the time, but he knew what he was doing, and here we are. So yeah, it's been a long journey. It was obviously only a year, but a lot's happened, and it's awesome that it's paid off.
You're always confident in the horse today with the run that you had throughout?
It was very similar to last start. I just was like, we've got a lot of weight. I know that he's a bit better than these, but the weight and the distance, it does get you in the end. But he, if anything, he rose to the occasion.
Is there a bit of unfinished business, do you think, with what transpired at the start of the year and the disappointment of that Perth Cup with this horse? Do you think he can continue to progress and go on to have another crack at a race like that?
Yeah, for sure. He'd obviously had enough and his run had come to an end. You never know. He's definitely up to him if everything's right.
Feel good story out of today's race meeting, Lucy. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Lucy Fiore, what a performance, what a ride, and Peter Fernie, he does it again. Kalgoorlie Cup number 3, and this time it's Sentimental Hero who gets the job done in the Swan Draught Kalgoorlie Cup. Now our attention turns to Mora for the last of the day, over a 1,000-metre journey, and Star Power is our favourite at $3.60. Kira Ora to 2 is at $4.60. Weapons Hot is at $5.50. The runners are behind the barriers. Riley, how do you order the 4?
My numbers here, Lockie, best bet of the daytime for me at Mora, 4, 1, 2 and 3. And with the 4 on top, Star Power, and with our current favourite, I thought he ran some really good races over the course of the Northwest season. Relatively new acquisition to Tom Pike's team. He was terrific in winning a 56 plus at Port Hedland over 1,200 metres, dominated the stablemate on that occasion. And then at Carnarvon ran second behind Cheeky Charlotte, just had to absorb too much pressure on that occasion. I thought that run had plenty of merit, then went back down to Belmont. Racing Graduation Company was only beaten 8 lengths by Split the G. I think that's really good